Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Starting Over for the Last Time. I am your host, Coach Nkrumah, your alignment and identity coach. And here we give you the tools and the awareness to make the next start your very last start. Your next start is going to be the last start. No more starting over. This time it's going to stick. This time it's going to be the full change that you were looking for all this time. And we're going to give you everything that you need in order to do that. Tonight, a very, very, very good topic that we're going to deal with, and that is why your days feel full, but your life isn't moving. Why your days feel full, but your life isn't moving. A lot of us, we have routines and days that are just full of stuff. We have dreams, we have goals, we have aspirations, and we're doing all of this stuff every single day, but then it feels like we never get anywhere. So it's like how are my days full but my life is not moving? How are my days full and I'm still in the same predicament? How are my days full and I still have the same salary? How are my days full and I'm still the same individual? How are my days full, but my relationships are still messed up? How do I have something going on every minute, every hour of the day, but it's not leading me anywhere? And that is what we're going to deal with tonight. We're going to help you understand why this is going on. Now, the reason why this is going on, or one of the biggest reasons why this is going on, is because we tend to live in reaction mode. We tend to live in reaction mode. We wake up and we have no design for our day. Now, I'm not saying you don't have a to do list. I'm not saying you don't have a bunch of tasks. I'm not saying you don't have routine. Yeah, you have all of that. And you built all of that in response to something. Your routine was not created from within. Your tasks weren't created from within. Your tasks were created from without. I got to drop the kid off to the babysitter because I got to get to work. That's just a task that becomes a part of your routine because you have this outside thing. You're not controlling your day. Everything you do is a reaction to something else, even your emotions. Have you ever, and this is one of the things I teach in my course and with my clients, have you ever woke up and decided the emotion you're going to feel today? Like your emotions are in your control unless you live in a reaction mode. And majority of us, majority of the time, are living in reaction mode. So you never even think about controlling your emotions. The way you view it, emotions are how you respond to stimuli, as opposed to emotions being how you regulate yourself or how you want to feel or what you decided to feel on any given moment. At any given time, you can stop and you can think of something to produce whatever emotion you want to feel. If you want to feel joy, you can sit and think and meditate on something that's going to bring you joy. If you want to feel gratefulness, you can sit and meditate and think on something that makes you feel grateful. If you want to feel happy, you can sit and meditate on something until it makes you feel happy. Or what we do, you can think about everything that's going wrong until you feel sad. That's what we do, right? We think about the worst case scenario and then the worst case scenario, then the worst case scenarios, worst case scenario. And now we depressed and sad because we didn't came up with this life ending that's not real. We just thought of the most egregious ending of life that we could have. And now we're sad. Like this is where I'm going to end up. Reaction mode. While your life feels full, but your life is not moving. We want to get you moving and moving towards your goal. Now, one of the problems is reaction mode feels like engagement with life, but it quietly removes authorship. Over time, it trains the mind, the body, and the spirit to wait for stimulus instead of choosing direction. This is why people feel busy, emotionally involved, and exhausted, yet unchanged, because you're just responding to everything else. There is no authorship. You have you ever thought about who you're going to be today? Like, how am I going to present? What energy are people going to feel when they're in my presence today? You can decide that. That's you being the author of your day. I'm deciding the emotion I'm going to feel. I'm deciding who and how I'm going to present. I'm deciding how confident I'm going to walk in the room. I'm not thinking that or waiting for something to make me feel confident or something to take my confidence away. I've decided I'm going to live in confidence today. This is my decision, and guess what? I control that. And if I keep that with me all day, I remind myself of that all day, that even if I begin to move away from confidence, I can recognize it and bring myself back. But the reaction mode, it feels like engagement because you're doing something. You're busy. You're responding to your boss. You're responding to your spouse or your partner. You're responding to your child. You're responding to Trump. You're responding to the economy. You're responding to what you see on social media. And none of that came from you. You went through a whole day responding to everybody else, and that's why your life isn't moving forward, because you're just on a hamster wheel of what's going on in the world. As the world rotates, you just rotate with it, when you can create your own rotation in your life. Now, reaction mode is not chaos. It's not chaotic per se. It's just conditioned responsiveness. It's when your mood is set by messages, people, memories, or pressure. Is when your decisions are shaped by what just happened. It is when your nervous system stays on alert, scanning for the next thing to respond to. Have you ever had something happen and now the rest of the day you like, man, what else gonna happen today? Reaction mode. How can you get to wherever your goals are? How can you accomplish whatever you're trying to accomplish if all day long you're surveying the world, waiting to see the next negative thing that's going to happen to you? Or should you be scanning and observing the world for your next opportunity? That's the difference between authoring your day, authoring your life, and being in reaction mode. One we just trying to figure out what next shoe is going to drop. Trying to figure out. I know I've worked at jobs where none of us knew if we were going to be fired the next day or not. It was terrible. Like, man, are we going to keep getting write ups for nothing? Like, are they done fired 22 people, all of them that look like me too? Am I going to be next? Just responding to the world, reaction mode. And this is the thing, you can't even be your best self if you're in reaction mode, because you're in fight or flight, fight, flight, or freeze at all times, and you're not able to be as creative as you should be. You're not able to be as focused as you should be. Now you can get through your routine because you can get through it on autopilot, but you can't get through what you need to in order for you to move your life. You can stay. It's easy to stay on that treadmill, just running in place. It's a whole lot harder to actually move your life forward. So on the surface, reaction mode, it can look like responsibility, but internally it's submission. You have submitted to everything around you. You have submitted to everybody around you. Have you ever heard somebody say, I saw so and so today, messed up my whole day? Your whole day? You telling me you let somebody's presence mess up your whole day? Reaction mode. It's reaction mode. And what's crazy is the person probably ain't say nothing to you, might have even been nice. But because of whatever happened in the past, as soon as you see this person, since you live in reaction mode, your whole day is messed up. How does that look? How does that feel? How does that work? How does that move you forward? It doesn't. And this is how we stay in that same place. This is how we stay busy, but we're not moving because we stay reacting. We haven't decided this is how I'm going to be, and so when we see somebody or something happens, our emotions are up to those things because we never decided what emotion that we wanted to have. We didn't decide what mood we wanted to be in. Your mood is contingent on what other people do. You got to set your mood. Now there is a extreme cost, some hidden costs to living in reaction mode. First hidden cost is you lose time without realizing it. Reaction mode steals time in small, invisible ways. You don't just waste days, you lose moments, moments of presence, moments of choice, moments where creation could have happened, but since you went in reaction mode, you couldn't create anything. Instead of choosing what the day is for, you spend it responding to what arrives. So whatever lands in your life, that's going to decide who you are today. It's a phrase people say, got me acting out of character. Well, why are you acting out of character? Do you have a concrete character? Do you have a concrete character? Because if you knew who you are and you operate as who you are, if you're conscious of who you are, if you are projecting who you are, then every little thing that's going on is not going to get you out of character because you know your character. Instead of choosing what the day is for you, you spend it responding to whatever is coming. So by the end of the day, you've been active, but you haven't been intentional. Let that settle. You've done 100 different tasks, and you've probably done a bunch of good things. But since it was all reactionary, it wasn't intentional because it didn't come from you. This is why people will say, "Man, I was busy all day, but I don't even know what I actually did." You was on autopilot. And I know I've probably said that a lot in every podcast about us on autopilot, but that's literally how we live if we aren't intentionally intentional. If you are aware that you can just go on autopilot and just go through the day. Listen, I learned this not too long ago too. I was talking about why, as you get older, time feels like it goes faster. And they said the reason why time feels like it's going faster as you get older is because your autopilot gets so ingrained in who you are. Your routines, they all come together. And since you just have this one big routine and you're not being intentional, you're not creating days, you're not being present, you're not creating moments, every day looks alike. So it all just meshes together in your brain because every day is the same day. It's just that routine. This year flew by fast. Yeah, because you did the same routine every single day. You can't even differentiate what you did Monday from what you did Thursday. How are your days different? Of course it looks like it was fast. You felt the same exact emotion every day coming from the emotions because you're going to work and you're feeling this and you're doing this with your kids and you're going helping them do the homework and you just have this routine where you're not being creative, where you're not allowing your essence to protrude into the world. You're not putting your stamp on the world is stamping you. The second hidden cost of being in this reaction mode is your identity becomes situational. And this is, ooh, we see this on social media so much. I mean, there, can I say something that I, I, this is probably really judgmental, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm trying to get the right word because I don't want to say hate or loathe, but I strongly dislike adults. I'm talking about over the age of 25 using kid slang, talking like the kids. Now, when you're young, you're gonna have some slang and all the different things. But I see so many men and women on social media who all have the same exact personality. All Not all, but so many men just behave like rappers, and so many women behave like baddies. They all look the same. The men look the same. The women look the same. They all look like a caricature, responding to what they see. Ooh, this is the it image. This is the it clothing. This is the it makeup. This is the it weave. This is your identity is situational. Whatever's going on, whichever way the wind is blowing, creates your identity. When you live in reaction mode, your identity it stops being stable. And if your identity is stable, see, your identity is what's supposed to produce your day and get the ball moving towards what you're supposed to be trying to get to. Whatever your goal is, whatever you're trying to accomplish, it has to start with your identity, you knowing exactly who you are, and then you're producing from yourself. And when you produce from what within, you're producing what you need to produce to move on to that next level. But if your identity is not stable, how can you produce that which you need to produce to get to the next level if your identity is shifting depending on who you're around? And if your identity is shifting depending on who you're around, then what you're producing changes according to who you are around. And if what you're producing is changing according to who you are around, then you're not producing the specific thing that you need to produce to get to that next level. Mm. You're calm until something happens. You're confident until someone else speaks. You're focused until an old memory shows up. Your sense of self becomes completely conditional to the point where over time it trains your mind to believe you don't decide who you are, life does. And many people will say that, oh, I'm like this because of what happened to me when I was 5. Now, as a counselor, I understand how trauma affects people and how different people respond differently to traumas. But you know how you have a toddler that can come tell you when they went to the potty, and you're like, if you can tell me you went to the potty on yourself, you could have actually went to the potty instead of going on yourself. That's the same way with people. If you can tell me I'm this way because of that, that means you can heal from that. It's not like something is um, underneath the surface and you don't know. No, you know exactly where it comes from. You can heal from that, but nobody's telling you to just be intentional. Nobody's telling you to create your day. Nobody's telling you to decide who you are and live as who you are and project as who you are and don't allow anything to move you from being who you are. But your identity becomes situational when you are living in in reaction mode, and your life is busy in reaction mode, but you're not moving anywhere closer to your goals. The third hidden cost is your nervous system never downshift. So reaction mode keeps the body in the low grade state of alert, not panic, not anxiety, just readiness. Your breathing stays shallow, your thoughts stay real fast. Your body never fully lands in the present moment. You are stressing about what may happen. You're upset about what already happened. The moment is there for you to control, but you're not living in it. The moment is there for you to take over. I talked about this book before, The Power of Now, right? Eckhart Tolle. And one of the things Eckhart Tolle says is there are no problems in the present. There are no problems in the present. When I first read it, I was like, come on, man, there's some problems in the present. But he started breaking it down. He's like, listen, all right, I understand you might got a bill that's due. You might even potentially be homeless tomorrow. And you might have been molested when you were young. There's all these things in the past or in the past or potentially in the future. But right now, in this moment, like right now, as I'm looking at this camera, as I'm talking into this microphone, there's really no problem right now. Right now, in this moment. Now, granted, if you're being attacked or harmed or something like that, uh, that's a problem in the present. But outside of that, your normal day, just right now, even as you're watching this right now, you don't have a problem right now in the moment. Now, right now, in this very moment, if I had $1 billion in my account, or I had $0, let's say I was negative in my account right now, and I was still having this conversation with you, there would be no difference in me at the moment. No problem in the present. Once you live in the moment, once you control the moment, our problem is we stay on high alert about what we think may happen. And we create the ideas of the worst things that could possibly happen when if you just live in the moment. Now, Eckhart Tolle went to a whole nother level. He actually became homeless because he was just being present. Now, I don't know how he actually lived. I know he talked about, he probably lived somewhere where it was warm, first of all. I forget where he was at, but he was like, he just lived in the park. And he said, I would just, you know, look at the trees. I would just watch the people, and I would just watch the birds and watch the animals. And he was just so in the moment. I don't want to be homeless, but I do want to get to that level of moment where he's just in the moment and he's not thinking about what could potentially go wrong, what did go wrong. He's just observing. Now, I've always had an issue, right, with time. Like I am if I'm traveling somewhere, I'm trying to get there as fast as I can for no reason. I ain't even got no schedule. I don't got nothing that's going on. But I used to drive from South Carolina to Philly a lot. And I would be speeding. Like, what am I speeding for? I have nothing to get. Whenever I get there, I get there. But I'm still trying to beat the GPS time. Once I read The Power of Now, and he's talking about being in this present moment. And I'm like, you know what? When I get in the car today, I'm not going to try to beat the GPS time. I'm just going to be in the moment. Got in the car, it was warm, rolled the windows down. And this day, it just felt like life illuminated. I wasn't worried about getting to my next destination. I wasn't worried about getting there fast. I just said, I'm just going to, I was in Charlotte when I did this. I just said, I'm just going to focus on my surroundings. I just looked at all of the beautiful trees and I just was looking at the sky and just looking at the clouds, looking at the cars and the people that were beside me and looking at all the architecture. And I swear this day just felt like everything just had more color. I was in the moment. And in that moment, it's no problems. But when you're in reaction mode, you can't be in the moment because you're responding to whatever's going on that moment. Does that make sense? The fourth hidden cause is you confuse movement with progress. So reaction is going to create motion because you're doing something in response to something else. Motion creates the illusion of progress. I must be moving towards my goal if I'm doing stuff every day, not if you're not doing the right things. And not if those things aren't coming from you, but they're responding to the things that are coming to you. So you answer messages on your email, you handle problems, you put out fires, you fix things, you do all of this stuff, and yet nothing fundamentally shifts in your life. Like if you just look at the past year of your life, what have you actually done? I was watching a clip of Jay-Z, and he was talking about that. He was like, I can tell you everything I did this past year. Can you tell me what you did? A lot of us can't can't tell what we did because again, it was we just did stuff on autopilot. We don't remember. Nothing was we didn't intentionally do anything. So if you didn't intentionally do it, you ain't gonna remember. What did I do? What did you do in 2025? And this is not to judge or shame you or make you feel bad. I want you to recognize how much you've been on autopilot so that we can change it. Now, progress requires direction, internal direction. Reaction only produces responses. This is why people can handle life for years and still feel like they haven't moved. Oh, you got it handled. Yeah, you got it handled. I remember I was talking to one of my elders and he was like, people, how did he word this? People who have been intentional about creating as they get older, they are the elders who always embrace the younger people and they're always pleasant to be around. The people who weren't intentional and who just let life drag them through the mud, when they get older, those are those older people who are always bitter because they're looking back over the life. They just spent 80 years and they didn't actually do anything. Which one do you want to be? Talk to me. The fifth hidden cost, you lose access to creation. Creation requires space. Reaction fills that space with urgency. It's just, I'm doing this, gotta do this, gotta do that. Nah, you have to. Uh, I just got off a call with a friend of mine, and he's writing a book, and he was asking me about my process of writing, and I was like, yeah, well, I get up from 4 to 8 is my writing time in the morning. I create that space for me to write because if I say I'm gonna do it from 6 to 10 at night, anything can happen throughout the day that's gonna throw me off, and then I gotta respond to this. And then Monday I ain't do it. I did it. I wrote Tuesday, then Wednesday I didn't write. But from 4 to 8 in the morning, it's nothing going on that's going to distract me, especially from 4 to 6. Like nobody's up. I'm up. It's dark. Nobody's texting, nobody's calling, nobody's emailing, nobody's nothing. It's just me and my in the spirit and my laptop creating space. When the mind is busy responding, it can't imagine. Again, when you're responding, you are in fight, flight, or freeze mode. You cannot be your best self in fight, flight, or freeze. And the problem with humans is we can force ourselves into fight, flight, or freeze because of our imagination. We are not meant to. I saw somebody say on social media, man, we're not meant to know what's going on in the whole world. Like it's crazy. Like, oh, what's going on in Russia? Oh man, what's going on in Sudan? What's going on in Palestine? Oh, what's going on in Zimbabwe? What's going on in we wasn't meant to know every bad thing that's going on across the world. That stuff puts us in a state of stress. I go on Facebook and I've never known this many people died because everybody is posting rest in peace to their loved one. And since I got so many friends on Facebook or on Instagram, there's always a death. I stopped posting mine. If somebody died in my family years ago, I stopped. I said, I'm tired of seeing these, so I'm not going to do it myself. And I wish everybody stopped putting the rest in pieces up. Not that there's nothing inherently wrong with it. It's just that I wasn't supposed. I don't even know this little 20-year-old girl that passed. But now I'm hurting for her. I don't I don't know this little boy that's missing, but now I'm hurting for him. Now my body is in a state of stress because I'm responding and reacting to stuff that I'm not even supposed to know. And when I'm in the stress mode, I can't create because literally when you're in fight, flight, or freeze, the creative part of your brain is not functioning. Your body thinks you are in imminent harm. So the only thing your body wants to do is get you away from the harm. And the crazy part is the harm is imagined. Because we're thinking about the worst case scenario to the point where it sends stress signals through our body like we're actually in harm. And you sitting on your couch, ain't nobody about to bomb you. Trump ain't about to send ICE to get you. None of the stuff that you're seeing. You got food in the refrigerator, but you thinking the worst and it's creating stress. You're responding to everything that you're seeing. You're never going to move forward because you're in reaction mode. You got to move from reaction mode to creation mode. And there's a spiritual cost that most people never name when it comes to reaction mode. Reaction mode subtly replaces your trust and your faith with control. And instead of living from authorship, people try to manage the outcomes of everything. We can't just create and allow things to be because we're so used to responding to everything and we're so used to our task and so used to our routines that we got to try to control these outcomes and we can't just put things into the universe and let them materialize. And instead of us having presence, we lean into vigilance. And we're trying to figure out everything that we can do to make this thing work. Now it's okay to plan, it's okay to network, it's okay to do what you need to do, but you have to have alignment with the spirit. You have to have alignment with the spirit because that is what's going to manifest. That is where the power comes from. When you're reacting to everything else, you're not trusting the spirit that's within you. The spirit of God is within you, but you're so used to reacting to everybody else, you act like you don't have that power inside of you. And that is why so many of us are tired and exhausted. It's because we were never meant to live on guard like this. Like you're supposed to go into fight, flight, or freeze, and 10, 15 minutes later, your nervous system should be reset You should be breathing normally. Your blood pressure should be down, and you should be able to function like nothing ever happened. But that is not what happens because once the incident happens, 15 minutes later, we're still dwelling on it. And if you still dwell on it, it feels like you're still in it. And if you feel like you're still in it, your body is still in that fight, flight, or freeze. I know that might sound redundant. I keep saying that, but that's what you really have to understand. Now, reaction mode feels normal because I mean, who has ever told you to wake up and decide how you want to feel? Like, did you know that was an option? Like, you can wake up and say, yo, I want to feel gratitude today. I want to feel joy today. I want to feel happiness today. I remember years ago, I was doing Uber and I was on my high vibration kick. And so I only use high vibrational adjectives. Like, somebody's asking me how I'm doing. I don't say good or okay. I say something high vibrational. So this woman gets in my car and it's like 4:30 in the morning. And she says, how you doing? I said, I'm fantastic. And she looked at me so serious and said, I want to feel fantastic. How do how do you feel fantastic? I decided to. I decided how I wanted to feel today. And that's the emotion that I'm carrying. But the way she responded was like she didn't even know that feeling fantastic was possible. She's like, how are we in the same car, same time, early this morning? You talking about you feeling fantastic, and I feel like I'm just being drugged. She had no idea that she could actually feel fantastic if she chose. We had a nice long conversation. And I want you to know that you have the option. You have the choice of how you want to feel, who you want to be, how you want to project yourself into the world, what you want to think. You control your thoughts. You don't have to think about the negative till you feel sad. You can think about some positive stuff until you get happy. It's up to you. But it's normal. It's normal for us to be in reaction mode because literally nobody has said, hey, do you know that you can control your day? So we've just been reacting every day. We've been reacting just to survive. We've stayed alert to stay safe. We learn how to read the room and moods and threats. The skill saved us and it kept us safe, but life is not about keeping us safe, or it should not be about keeping us safe. It should be about being and producing what God created us to produce. Now let's talk about the quiet shift that breaks reaction mode. The shift out of reaction is not productivity or discipline. So, what we want to do is replace one routine with some new routine. Now, again, routines are not bad. Tasks are not bad. To-do lists are not bad. It's not about what you're doing. It's about who you're being while you're doing it. It's about you being in control of your being when you do what you do. So the 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 quiet shift that breaks reaction mode is just authorship. Now, authorship begins the moment you decide this day will not be defined by what happens to me. That's the quiet shift. You wake up and before your feet touch the floor, you tell yourself, today is not going to be defined by what happened to me. We went through the day and got home and we talking to some family member like, oh, my day was terrible. Why was your day terrible? Again, I'm not saying bad things don't happen, but do you have to respond negatively to the bad things? I have had a lot of viral moments on social media. And in these viral moments, there have been a lot of like hate comments. And people would always ask me, like, how do you deal with these people coming at you so hard? And the truth is just I don't respect these people. I don't respect their opinions. I know whatever I'm putting out there, I am very well studied in whatever I put out there. Not saying that I can't ever be wrong, but I'm very, very well studied. So when unstudied people get in my comments and start talking crazy, it just doesn't bother me. Now, some people will see these negative comments and they have to respond. I don't mean respond by responding in the comments, I mean their bodies. And they said that about me, or they felt that way about me. I genuinely don't care. Like, not a bit. Like, I don't like there's literally been times where it's like thousands of people and you're wrong and I'm 10 toes down because I know I'm very well versed in what I'm talking about. And it doesn't bother me one bit. Now I'm not saying that you're weak or you're not strong if you let these things get to you. I'm just letting you know you don't have to let these things get to you. So you can know that your day does not have to be a terrible day because who you saw, or your day doesn't have to be a terrible day because of what somebody said, your boss, or how your boss talked to you or anything like that. It doesn't have to be a bad. You don't have to allow your body to respond in a negative way to outside stimuli. You can literally just be like, okay, that's how they're acting. All right, as long as you ain't getting too crazy. I ain't gonna say what I wanted to say, but long as you ain't getting too crazy, I don't. I mean, I like. There's no part of me that cares at all. I I just think I don't think I should say this, but it's the truth. I just got to be honest. When when people are attacking me, I think they're stupid. I don't think they're smart, and I know they aren't studied. So it just doesn't bother me. If somebody doesn't like me, it just doesn't bother me. I'm controlling my day. I'm pushing my life forward. If you want to be a nut, then go ahead. I ain't gonna talk to you no more. I ain't gonna befriend you no more. I'm not gonna be cordial with you or nothing. You got to get away from me. But I'm not letting it ruin my day. I'm the author. I'm the author of my day. Reaction waits for life to speak. Authorship speaks first. Authorship decides first. So many of us, we need validation. We need somebody to tell us that we're good. We need somebody to tell us that we're great. I've been accused of being arrogant pretty much most of my life because I'm not the world's definition of humble. Funny thing is, whenever somebody calls me arrogant, I really come think that they really think I'm arrogant because I always respond, "You're using the wrong word." Because to be arrogant means you exaggerate. I'm everything I say I am. To be arrogant is to exaggerate oneself. Now, you could potentially call me cocky, but you can't call me arrogant because whatever I said I am, I'm all of that. I'm all of that. Every bit of it. Yeah, that's me. The humility is I know everything about me is God's gift, and I give God the glory. But on the other side of that, I don't recognize people who other people think are cocky. I just see them as people who believe in themselves. Most of the time when somebody is trying to call you arrogant or call somebody cocky, it's because they don't believe in themselves and they don't like seeing somebody else who fully believes in themselves. I don't never have a problem with Kanye. I don't I do not be having a problem with Kanye because hey, if that's if that's how you feel about you, how does how you feel about you bother me? You can feel any way you want about yourself. How that bother me? Be that author. Be the author of your life. God gave you control of your life. The authorship is what breaks the reaction mode. The authorship is what breaks you from being in fight, flight, or freeze all day. The authorship is what resets your nervous system. The authorship is what causes new synapse and neural pathways in your brain. The authorship is what changes your physiology. The authorship is what programs your autonomic nervous system and your reticular activating system. The authorship is what changes your life. So if your life feels like it's always responding instead of creating, the problem isn't effort, it's position. You're inside the story of your life instead of writing it. And until that changes, every day will feel full and none of them will feel like yours. So if you want to get movement in your life, you have to intentionally be the author every single day. Thank you all for tuning in. Right now, I wish I would go to killingyesterday.com, pick up a copy of my new book, Killing Yesterday. Go to coachandkrumah.com. We are going to be having some coaching services coming soon. Get on our mailing list. We also have a webinar coming up January 29th, How to Start Over. For the last time, we're having a whole webinar on this. You can go to coachandkrumah.com /last dash time. Y'all have a great evening.